In today's video, I'm going to show you how to quickly make a mug rug using the 6-inch heart quilt block. And if you haven't made this block before, check the description below. There is a link to a full video that shows you how to make this simple block in 5 different sizes. So I didn't just want this hanging out in my scrap bin, I wanted to put it to use. So let's whip this into a mug rug in no time. We're going to use quilt as you go method, some trim, some fabric scraps. So first off, I want to tell you there's no such thing as mug rug police, okay? You can make this any size that you want. It's basically called a mug rug because it is a rectangle and looks like a rug. If it was a square, we would call it a coaster, which you could turn that into a coaster too, but we're doing mug rugs today. I digress. So I have cut a piece of fusible fleece that is 7.5 inches by 11. You can also use flex foam. You can use batting with a little bit of muslin to give it that stability, any kind of padding for the inside. Then I'm going to take this quilt block. I'm not putting it all the way on the edge or all the way in a corner. I'm going to have it equidistant from the side because when you do quilt as you go, the part that you're quilting, you want it a little bit bigger and then we're going to trim it to size. The size is going to be 7 by 10, and then we're going to self-bind this, meaning we're just going to sew it, flip it right side out, and be done instead of doing more traditional quilt binding on it. I just want something quick, fun, and cute. This would be great for a teacher gift, for your mom, for your bestie, anybody that you just want to say, you know what, I appreciate you. You make my heart smile. We're going to use this. And then I grabbed some other scraps that just kind of went with this fabric. I decided the yellow's a little bit much, so I'm not going to use that. I could do some strips with this, but no, I think I'm going to just keep it simple. I'm going to put red all the way around and on this side. And then I just want to play with some trim, quick and simple. So now let's take this over to the sewing machine and start quilting as we go. And I'll show you what that means. I've pinned the heart block on the fleece where I want it. And now I'm going to just sew a little strip of red over here. So I'm going to take this scrap and I'm going to line the raw edge up with the raw edge of the quilt block like that. You can pin it or you can just wing it. I'm just going to put 2 little pins in there to make sure that that stays straight. I'm going to turn it and I'm going to just sew with a 1/4 inch seam from that edge. And now I'm going to flip that. So you'll see the raw edge of both of these is right in there. And this is why it is called quilt as you go, because we're just sewing this on directly to the fleece. Now I'm using this little roller thing, can't remember what that's called, to flatten that. And then I'm just going to cut that off even with that. Now I'm just going to stitch about 1/8 of an inch from there to do the quilting. And I'm not knotting at the ends because this is going to be trimmed to size. Now I'm just going to continue adding the red so that I have the fleece completely covered and this heart block surrounded. So I'm going to be lining up the raw edge with the raw edges of the block because we do want to make sure we are coming in exactly 1/4 inch from the heart quilt block. And then this goes over, you'll see. So I'm going to make sure that this scrap goes farther than the fleece because again, we're going to trim this at the end. I do love that this, you just kind of wing it and sew and have fun. I'm just going to flip that and you can either finger press it. I do like this little roller thing. Gets that nice and pressed to then just go back and throw a little quilting in there. I'm going to do the same thing on the top, making sure that this piece is going over the edge of that fleece and a little bit over the edge of this block, but lined up here, both raw edges. So again, you'll see the fleece is a lot smaller than my scraps. I'm just letting them hang over the edge. Doesn't matter at all. I can take these pins out now because that's nice and secure where it is. Now we're going to put our 4th one on, lining up the raw edge of the block with the raw edge of the red. Now, if you have fabric that has a right and wrong side, make sure you're putting right sides together. This is really easy and mindless if you're using solid colors. Design-wise, using odd numbers usually looks really good. Your eye isn't always sure why, but It's the truth. So I think I'm going to do white, pink, and white. I don't know, it looks very Valentine's-y. So I'm just going to make it basically as long as that red because I know it will be longer than what I need. Okay, I did pin that because I do want to make sure it stays straight. I don't want to wing it and have it going all crooked. You could also glue base that down if you want to, but I thought pins were quick and easy. All right, so there's white. Now let's put a pink. I do love doing projects sometimes that you can just literally put together at your sewing machine. You're not moving back and forth from your cutting space to your sewing machine. It's just nice and quick. I'm also eyeballing it. You could use your ruler to make sure they're exactly evenly spaced, but I'm not going to do that this time. All right, now I'm going to do a little bit more quilting on the heart. I think I'm going to stitch about 1/4 inch around the inside of the heart, as much or as little as you want to do. The next step is to trim our quilted mug rug top to match the back. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it to the size of the backing. So I know what I'm starting with. Just get the extra scraps trimmed off of there. Because we want to make sure we get this trimmed straight so that our mug rug doesn't look crooked and cattywampus. It's a fun word, isn't it? Cattywampus. So that looks good. Remember, that's going to be like that. So you can kind of do this. I tried this one time where I just put it on top and sewed it and then trimmed it. And I found that I didn't put it straight. So some of my lines on the front ended up being a little bit crooked. Not ideal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up so I can visually see what's going on here. Get this lined up on my mat. Make sure I have a little more than 1/4 inch over the rickrack and also over this side. And then I'm going to trim this to the 10 inches wide. Now we need to get it to 7 inches. So we need to trim basically 1/2 inch off. I just like to use that back for visual. You just want to make sure we have at least 1/4 inch on each side of this heart. I don't want it coming in too close. I want a little bit of red left. Okay, now we're going to do right sides together. We're going to put the back on top of, well, we'll do it this way. So that our walking foot is going on top of this, and we are just going to pin this together. And I'm going to leave this entire edge open for turning. Instead of doing a small spot, I find it turns better with a straighter, less obvious line if I leave one of the short ends open. And because this end is so short, with that red, I want to make sure that's sewn really well. So I'm going to leave this end open. So we're going to sew here, here, here. Okay, now I'm going to clip those corners. I'm going to turn it right side out. And then I'm going to take it to the ironing board and press it. And we're going to turn this edge under and press that. I do wish I had done these a little bit closer to the heart, but we're going to make it work. Now I have it pressed and this pressed under, so I'm going to sew all the way around the edge to close that seam, and so you won't really be able to tell. And then I might add a little bit more quilting just to keep it all together, and then it is going to be done. And now it is all done. We have the back, it's self-bound. Is it perfect? No, I would have moved these over a teeny bit, but I still love it. It is ready for my mug. And now I just need a cute treat to put over there and I'm good to go. Or if you want to give it as a gift, you can roll it up, put it in a mug, put some cookies or some candy in there. You can also grab a free tag that explains what it is if you're giving it as a gift. Look for the link below this video to find that. So if you have any little quilt blocks lying around, 6 inch is perfect to make a mug rug. And this one is ready for Valentine's Day.